Okay, in this video, as everybody knows, I'm from Northern California, the Big Bad Bay Area to be exact. And Devin Haney's fighting at the Chase Center. That's where the Golden State Warriors now play. They used to play in the town. That's Oakland. But now they play in San Francisco. Why? Tech money, and money rules everything. So who cares about tradition or people that cheered for the team prior? Who cares about that stuff? But Haney is taking on Regis Prograis for Prograis' belt, the WBC junior welterweight title. It's on pay-per-view. That's kind of strange, but we don't have to talk about that aspect of it. Let's break down the fight for those in the San Francisco area who are excited about going to this fight. It's Lukie. Let's get our groove on. So Devin Haney has had a really underrated last 2 years. You could pick and prod. You could say that all of his big fights have been against undersized guys. You could say they were all featherweights. Although Linares had been fighting at that weight for some time. Jojo Diaz, it was lifestyle issues that got him to lightweight. It wasn't Devin Haney's issues that got him there. And Vasyl Lomachenko had to move up to essentially lightweight for people to buy his fights, because Lomachenko is probably one of the best featherweights ever in the history of boxing. He just never stayed at the weight class because I think that there weren't the suitable opponents, and he had to kind of chase glory and history based on his terms. So if you want to pick and prod, you could say, okay, every guy that Devin's fought has been underrated. That being said, you don't see many young fighters go to Australia twice to win a title. People will look back and go, oh man, he could beat Kambosos with his eyes closed. And he could, and he did. But that first fight was looked as a true 50-50 fight. It was looked as a true competitive fight, and Devin skunked him. He outclassed him. The second fight got no attention because it was a mandatory rematch, and as we've all said, are rematch clauses hurting the sport of boxing? I think they are, because they force largely uninteresting bouts upon us. We're forced to see a fight we have no interest in just because a contract says so, because it serves as an insurance policy. So for those like I had a boxing trainer go once say, rematch clauses are great. My fighters have had them. Rematch clauses are great if you don't think you can win a fight, because you get a chance to fight 2 times for a large sum of money. Rematch clauses do not benefit fans, and I would dare say they don't benefit fighters, because often one fighter wins dominantly, then there's 6 months to rematch, and you go back in and the guy's taking a lot of damage, and then he goes back into the rematch, takes more damage, he's got a lot of money, but now he has to rest for a year and a half, 2 years, if he ever wants to be the same guy. And these rematch clauses typically happen because guys fight later in their career, around 32 or 34 years old. So now you're looking at a guy in his mid-30s trying to reinvent his career. It's not the most desirable thing possible. I get it if you're just looking selfishly and you're like, well, this benefits me. Yeah, it's great. And if you're a competent manager, you've always got to advocate for it. But in terms of the fans, it really stinks. It's not the greatest thing. It's not very fun and whatever. Regis Devin is interesting because one of the things that people have asked about Devin Haney is it the size? Is Devin just winning on size? Is he winning on being bigger than people, being more elusive, and being able to just kind of stay away, assert physical dominance, and win fights based on his physicality and God-given gifts and his hard work, which gets underrated? Devin's one of the hardest workers and wants to be the best. This fight is going to answer that question, because Regis is going to be as big as Devin Haney. Devin Haney is a big 140-pounder, even though he's coming from the lightweight division. He's the undisputed champion, though that is about to change on November 16th. Devin is going to be in there with Regis, who's a guy who could easily be at welterweight, and he wouldn't be a small welterweight. So this is going to answer certain questions that I think naysayers of Devin Haney have asked. Can Devin Haney take a punch? Regis Prograis can hit hard enough where we're going to get that question answered. Can Devin handle physicality? Regis Prograis can box, but his boxing is more akin to a Marcos Maidana than it is maybe, say, like a Floyd Mayweather. He's an old school brawler brute, but he's got nuanced rhythm and timing, and he can really do it. On Regis's side, the Zorilla performance was awful. And there's 2 ways to look at it. Did he have nerves fighting at home in New Orleans? Or is that a sign of a lot of hard fights and he's coming down at the end of his career? If Regis Prograis wants to be a Hall of Fame fighter, and I know he cares about legacy, he has to win this fight, or his whole career is going to kind of get thrown into the back burner. If Devin Haney wants to get his respect and throw his name out to say maybe I should be Boxer of the Year, he has to dominate a guy like Regis Prograis. These are two guys going into this fight who, though they have two different career trajectories, they're both looking to the boxing world like, hey, I'm really good. I'm arguably the best guy in my division, yet I'm not getting respect. What friggin' gives? And that's what makes this fight compelling. They're bringing boxing back to San Francisco. There's a rich boxing history in San Francisco. I wish OG Bobby Warren was still alive so OG could be at this fight because he deserved to see a fight in San Francisco, but I know he's going to be somewhere smiling. His soul and essence will be here in spirit for this fight. But this is going to be a good one, you know, and I think that whenever the tickets go on sale, you might as well go support, and it's going to be compelling because this is a fight where it comes down to who's going to be the better fighter on the evening. You can talk about the pay-per-view element. I don't love that it's on pay-per-view, but I'll probably be at the fight unless I'm not allowed at the fight, and then I'll probably buy a ticket to the fight. If they won't credential me, I'll probably end up buying a ticket. Now you're going to see all the DAZN Matchroom people are going to be like, okay, he said he'll buy a ticket, so we don't have to give out that comp ticket. But it's interesting, and I think this is very important, and I think there's a huge crossover, an untapped crossover with basketball players who want to be Mr. Boxing Guy. And I think in a community like San Francisco, where the Warriors play, this brings an element of possibly maybe some stars could come out to see this fight. I'm excited. I like rainy weather. I like the fall. My birthday's in a week. Say happy birthday if you want. This is big. So leave a comment. Are you going to Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis? Leave a comment. If you don't like me, make fun of my bad hairline. Best joke gets a thumbs up from me. And subscribe to the channel so I can just get my viewers up and then be really nasty to people who were real helpful to me on the come up. That would probably be a cool move.